Howdy there, Bambino. You going good today, is it? Let me tip my hat a little bit so you can't see my eyes. And suspiciously drink coffee. Howdy there, Bambino. Let me do it one more time for you, Bambino. I don't know what I'm doing. Hello. Welcome. Into the stream. We were playing Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. Yes. We were at the second trial for Rise from the Ashes. We're trying to prove Emma's sister Lana is innocent. And I don't know. I have a feeling she isn't. Mainly because she's the defendant in a Phoenix Wright game, so she has to be innocent. Hell yeah. But we're just gonna go ahead and start the stream, boys. Let's just jump right into it, honestly. So let's continue. Rise from the Ashes. Let's go. Throw that down. Alright, yo, Ace of Attorney, indeed. Welcome. Thank you, Santi, for tuning in. Defendant Lobby number 2, District Court. So what do you think, Mr. Wright? I think the prosecution is as confused as we are. After all. Hey.
Matthew,
What's
I
up?
tried to have Dad apologize to Penelope, and you know what he said?
What did he
You know
say?
what he had the audacity to say?
What did he have the audacity to say?
He said, maybe she won't beg to go outside as much.
Wow, that's crazy. Anyways, it's
Can we
time
get
for...
Pogs for Penny?
Yes, Pogs for Penny.
Pogs for Penny?
The baby is here.
Oh, Pogs for Penny.
Yes, goodbye.
What, am I not gonna voice Cowboy Man?
No?
Why not?
I want to voice Cowboy Man.
I wanna voice
I want to voice Cowboy
I'm gonna
Man.
kill you.
Get out.
We shoot you for that in Texas.
I'll shoot you for that in
I'll
Texas.
shoot you for that in Arizona.
But goodbye, Penny. I'll miss you.
Ow.
The victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same time. Oh, hello, Lana. And a different suspect was arrested at each of the crime scenes. Lana. Good morning, Mr. Wright. I apologize for yesterday. I was indisposed. I hope they didn't hold you too long for questioning. We just finished, actually. I'm used to all-nighters, though. So how'd it go? It's as Mr. Wright suspects. The police are clueless. I figured as much, so I struck a plea bargain. A plea bargain? What do you mean by that? We agreed that if I told them the truth behind this simultaneous murder, they wouldn't seek capital punishment. That's what I mean, Emma. But Lana, don't tell me she's not guilty, though. Much to my regret, I'm as much in the dark about this as they are. Miss Skye. We found trace evidence of a certain person in the police department's evidence room. They belonged to Officer Jake Marshall. What kind of trace evidence? Blood-stained fingerprints, to be exact. Gotta go. Thank you for tuning in, Santi. That's the trump card I have up my sleeve today. You do understand what this means, don't you? Does Phoenix think you're gonna accuse Mr. Marshall? We have to play the cards we're dealt. Isn't that right, Miss Skye? Ooh, she won't like that. Do what you have to, Mr. Wright. Okay. I don't know if Jake did it either. I don't know. I don't know what's up with all this. This is all very confusing. Let me just... Okay, cool. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is... I'm afraid you'll have to clarify. It takes 30 minutes by car to reach the police department from the prosecutor's office. Yet the victim, Bruce Goodman, was slain at both places at the same time. But that's not physically possible, is it? What's more, I hear the victim was from the evidence room just disappeared. Yes, and the body eventually reappeared in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Wow, this is one messed up trial. Scuffed, bruh, scuffed trial. One of my duties as prosecutor is to present impartial evidence. Today I will present evidence relating to the murder at the police department. In so doing, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself. Blah, 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 blah. Now that's what sets Mr. Edgeworth apart. He sounds so on top of things, even though he doesn't know what's going on himself. And that's supposed to be an admirable trait? Yeah, it's kind of bad for me though, isn't it? Very well, let the trial resume. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Mr. Edgeworth, you may call your first witness of the day to the stand. For its first witness, the prosecution calls the suspect of the murder that occurred at the police department. The suspect? You mean the so-called murderer? Oh boy. Oh, it's gonna be Meekins, huh? Things are getting wild from the get-go. I totally forgot everything about this case because it's been so long. Holy cow. Will the witness please state his name and occupation?
Yes, sir. I am Officer Meekins, sir. My occupation is, that would be murderer, sir.
Wow. So you're telling us you're a professional killer?
Sir, it was me, sir. I'm the one who did it. I'll never kill anyone again, sir. You've got to believe me, sir.
Actually, what we'd like to hear from you is...
Sir, I'm what you would call part of the younger generation, sir. A person whose actions adults can't possibly comprehend.
Please, Mr. Edgeworth, sir, help me. Even the judge is saying it. Officer Meekins.
Yes, sir.
Give us your report of the crime. Consider that in order.
Yes, sir, as you wish. After all, I'm a part of a generation that must be told
What to do, sir? You can't fault him for a lack of enthusiasm. No, we cannot. Crime report, sir.
Although it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room for that day. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir.
His ankles are exposed.
I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life, then I did it.
After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake. Was it Marshall who smacked you away? So the victim, Detective Goodman, attacked you.
Do unto others before they do unto you. That's the Meekins family motto, sir.
I see. Then you fainted and a colleague helped you regain consciousness.
Yes, sir. He knocked me upside the head, sir.
Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. What I need here is more info to work with. So he's telling me I should just press. Crime report, sir. Cross-examination. I wanted to... Alright. Hold it. It's probably Goodman, right? In order to enter the evidence room, you need an ID card, am I correct?
Precisely, sir. I have one right here around my neck.
So then, your ID number should be listed on here, right? Yes, let's fill this out more.
There it is. I found it. It's the one right. This is the one.
Could you please read us the number?
Yes, sir. It's that one. That's my number, sir.
I see, huh? But the number is 4989596. Is shown as being used twice. Oh, shoot. Please explain, witness.
It's no real mystery, sir. The first time is when I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room, and the second time is when I went to go get him after everything settled down.
Why did you move the Blue Badger? So it was during that second time when?
Yes, sir. That was when I spotted the man on the security screen.
Okay. Data added to the ID card record. I'm gonna just press everywhere. So you were attacked. Can you please tell us exactly what happened to you?
It was a knife, sir. A knife.
Detective Goodman pulled a knife on you? What happened then?
Well, with me charging in on him like that, he looked as surprised as I was.
You aren't exactly the kind of person someone would want to run into.
That's when I reacted, sir. I swung my arms like an octopus, struggling to detain him. That's how I got this gash on my hand.
Maybe if you just kept your cool, your hand wouldn't be...
When I saw the blood trickling down my arm, I panicked. I grabbed the man by his collar.
Off my light, and then I did it. Let's hold it right there. What exactly do you mean when you say you did it?
I know I don't look the type, but I'm really into kung fu films, sir. The man let his guard down for just an instant, so I snatched his knife from him.
You took his knife?
I spun around and performed a disarming maneuver. I made sure to close my eyes like a man.
I see. You must have been so desperate.
The next thing I knew, his white coat was drenched in a sea of my blood, and then the next thing I knew, yes, he punched me right in my face, sir.
So we didn't actually kill him. About what time did you regain consciousness?
No offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that? I was unconscious.
Oh, right. According to the report from the officer that woke up the witness, it was about 5:30.
He hit me right in the head, too. I woke up crying tears of pain.
That's nice. Or, I mean, it's nice that you recovered, that is.
When I came around, though, I made sure to finish my mission, sir.
Your mission?
Yes, sir. The Blue Badger, sir. I returned to the efforts before things got out of hand.
Oh my god, we should have sprayed the Blue Badger. Oh no, well, we can all rest easy now. This is what he was telling us yesterday. But we need to try and skim some more details from him. For starters, what was an officer from the General Affairs Department doing in there in the first place? Right, let's press him for all he's worth. Yeah, I needed to press on the first one. Mr. Meekins, you work in the General Affairs Department, do you not?
Yes, sir. I'm in charge of hiring new recruits, sir.
Yikes, now there's a scary thought. Evidence transfer was taking place on the day of the crime, which meant many officers were given special tasks not ordinarily performed.
I was in charge of guarding the Blue Badgers, sir.
The Blue Badger?
Yes, sir. The lovely police mascot created by the chief of detectives, sir. I was to ensure it wasn't broken during the transfer process.
Cool.
That was my sole mission for the day, sir.
Just protect that one thing? Oh god. I see. Sounds like a very important mission.
After the awards ceremony finished that day, there were so many people running around that I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room.
Oh, so that's why you went into the evidence room. Tell us, what did you see when you got there? I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened. Yes, Your Honor. Only one thing remains unclear. Was the man this officer murdered really the victim? He's got a point. Yes, Officer Meekins?
With regard to that, sir, take a look at this. It was sent to my jail cell. Chief Gant delivered it to me just this morning, sir.
The chief delivered it? What is that? Videotape?
Yes, sir. That's absolutely right, sir. A videotape, sir. It contains footage from the security camera in the evidence room.
Oh, shoot. What? But I specifically asked if there was such a tape and was told it had been mistakenly erased. That's quite a mistake.
I just do what I'm told, sir. It's the only thing I'm really good at.
Looks like communication with the police department is as good as ever. Let's have a look. Show us the video of you murdering the victim. Yeah, show us.
Oh, please stop using that word murder, sir. It scares me.
A video of a real murder. Just what are we getting ourselves into? It's not gonna be a real murder at all. Oh, Christ, that's creepy. Yo, FNAF? Yo, FNAF? Oh, Jesus, what is this 3D animation BS? Oh, that is so freaking perfect. And that the flag just happens to cover his face. Oh my god. Oh, there's Meekins. This is actually really cool. Holy crap. Oh, there's the hand. Oh, slamming Meekins in. And then it turns away. That's fantastic. So we really don't know. At all. There's Meekins. Absolutely cold. We didn't see Jack. Meekins is innocent, bruh. Free my man. He didn't do nothing wrong. That's crazy. Dot dot dot. Dot dot dot. Dot dot dot. Well, I believe we're all thinking the same thing. How can we deal with these unsettling feelings stirred within us? What the hell was that wriggling piece of plywood?
Sir, that is the pride and joy of the entire criminal affairs department, sir. It's the Blue Badger, sir.
Why am I not surprised this isn't going smoothly? Huh. So yeah, we didn't see Jack in that video. Honest to God. Did not see Jack. Yes, well, anyway. This tape seems to prove that the witness did indeed encounter someone in the evidence room, and some sort of activity did take place. Your Honor, instead of relying on clearly incomplete footage, the witness's testimony will suffice. Is that alright with you, Officer Meekins?
Yes, sir. As you wish, sir.
Alright, I guess. Mystery Man.
His face can't be clearly seen in the video, but there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. I mean, he opened the locker, which required Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do. The locker...
Guilty person says what? What?
Oh, no! Crap!
Guilty!
The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir. So it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it.
No one else could have unlocked it. What's this about a fingerprint? Each detective has been given a locker equipped with a fingerprint-activated lock. These locks ensure that each locker can only be opened by the detective it belongs to. Intriguing. That would mean the victim at the crime scene would have to have been Detective Goodman. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. I don't know where this cross-examination will lead, but everything begins with contradictions. That's where I have to start. Alright, so I really do have to find a contradiction in here. I'm gonna press, though, on everything. Wait. Let's just press on everything. Were you able to get a good look at him? At the face of the man who attacked you with the knife?
Sir, if you must label people as being seen or not seen the man's face, I believe I would be classified as the latter.
The latter? But you were standing right in front of him, were you not? More to the point, you were the person who fought him, aren't you?
Oh, yes, sir, but I didn't get a clear look at his face, sir. I'm not the kind of guy who looks directly at people when talking to them, you see.
Yeah, that's a good trait for a police officer.
Still, I'm sure it was him. I bet my badge on it.
I'll take that badge. I'll put it with my attorney's badge. But you don't know that for sure, do you? You never actually saw Detective Goodman's face.
Well, I suppose you might say that. That is, if you must label...
Oh.
Why is everyone looking at me? If I had to label your stares as disturbing or...
Meekins? Oh, jeez. Having been shown a questionable video at best, we are not in the best of moods. Now, please be more certain when you testify.
Yes, sir.
You claim that the man who brandished a knife on you was Bruce Goodman. Tell us why you are positive it was him. I want to see evidence here. Okay. Is that the only way they can be opened? Is there like a master key or something? Can we spray Goodman? That's hilarious. Let's see. Screwdriver. Evidence of a brought back to his office by Gant's request. What was that for? I don't even remember. Goodman's lost item report. Can I check this actually? ID 59? I don't know what any of this means actually. I'm just looking to see what evidence, because it's been so long since I freaking... What is this from? Oh man, okay. Indicator lamps light up when it's open. Okay, so only the fingerprints. So this is Marshall's fingerprints. Check this. Can I? No, okay. Huh. Okay, let me press here. Hold it! About these lockers, is there no other way to open them?
No, sir. I myself tried all kinds of methods in the past. They only respond to registered fingerprints, sir.
I wonder what kind of methods he's tried. If the man opened the locker's lock, which only responds to its registered fingerprints, then he must have been the person the locker is assigned to.
Exactly my point, sir, and this too.
He opened his unquestionably. How do you know? How do you know that information?
I've heard rumors, sir, from people in the know, sir.
People in the know?
The workers in the department cafeteria, sir. They keep me informed. They also listen to my romantic trouble.
Aww, he has wingmen. I love it. For the record, the open locker did indeed belong to Detective Goodman. I verified this information through a more reliable source. So the victim opened the locker with his own fingerprint. It seemed like it was him. I think this is where we'll have to contradict this, honestly. However, the most important detail is not shown in this video. The man's face.
Sir, if I may say something, sir.
Oh, please do. After all, you're the one being examined.
I don't understand why the man's face is so important in this case, sir. I mean, it was his hand that opened the fingerprint lock. And it was his hand that tried to thrust his knife into my body, sir. My unsettled state can testify enough to this, sir.
Yes, you have a point. The footage doesn't lie. That is... Unless the defense can find a problem with it. Mr. Wright, let's check the court record again. Is there a problem with the security video? There is. I don't know what it is, but there is. Regarding the video contained on this tape, there is one thing in particular that seems rather strange. Strange. This contradiction leads to the possibility that the man may not have been Detective Goodman. What? This video contains such a contradiction? Interesting. Your Honor, I have a proposal. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth? Oh, crap. I propose we have the defense point out to us this alleged contradiction in the video. He would want me to point it out. Frick. Very well, proposal accepted. Let us further inspect this piece of evidence. Crap, dude. I will now play the security tape. The contradiction. Crap. This is the first time I've ever had to do that. You can do, Mr. Wright. It's a setup, so you can fast forward. Oh, it's set up. Okay, just take a good look and be sure to point out the right thing.
Please don't play it too many times. I can't stand watching this video.
How did this guy ever become a police officer? Now then, Mr. Wright, please enlighten us. Where is the contradiction that indicate... Okay, cool. Wait. Indicator lamps light up when it's open. This is lit up. That means this is open. The thing that's strange about this video has got to be this, Officer Meekins.
Sir, do you mean me, sir?
As I understand it, the locker apparatus works like this. Why is the music still playing? When you grab the handle, a sensor reads your fingerprint. If it's a match, the light turns on and the lock is released.
According to my very limited experience, that's the way I understand it, sir.
Oh, what was that? Notification. I need to check that. Oh, thank you, Nova, with the host. Nova coming through. If so, then something is seriously wrong with this picture. Yeah. Honestly, I'm so glad I looked over the court record earlier. I never would have noticed that. It's literally open. It's open already. Yeah, so this is Goodman walking to it. Yep. Yeah, when the victim reaches for the handle to open the locker. Let's rewind to a little earlier. I get it. This music, dude, this music and the fact that I understand what they're trying to say. Oh my god. This is driving me insane. Here, notice the light? What's this? It's already lit. Precisely my point, Your Honor. The locker was already open before the victim grabbed the handle. Hello, Nubanati. Watching people play while some... Oh, nice. Nice. Order. What's the meaning of this? It's very simple, Your Honor. The locker wasn't locked on the day of the crime. But the locker locks are controlled by an electronic system. When a door is shut, a sensor is triggered, and the locker is automatically locked. Oh, I know, it must have been broken down. Of course, I'm not an expert in this. That's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would detect and report any malfunction. Oh well, it just goes to show novices should keep their mouths shut. Okay, literal one judging this case. So then, Mr. Wright, do you have an explanation? Me, Your Honor? Yes, why wasn't the locker locked? Me, Your Honor? Yes, well, you see, this isn't exactly my field. What do you think, Miss Scientific? I'm just gonna put her on the spot in front of the entire court. What do you think? I don't know the answer. What do you think, 15-year-old girl? Huh? Oh, maybe something like jam the system sensor. Something jam the sensor? Say, there's something else that seems out of place in this video. Yeah, I thought so too. There's gotta be another clue somewhere in this footage. Very well, let us inspect the video once more. The locker wasn't locked, Mr. I don't know what this second thing is at all. I really don't. There's Goodman. Or a quote-unquote Goodman. It's so sus how his face is like just barely oh my god, wait. Rewind. What the that's it. That's it! Oh my god, I just noticed that. Please watch closely. This is the continuation of the part I showed you earlier. Oh my gosh, that's actually genius. Okay, yes, we know. Oh shoot, there's a glove we have in our court record too. Oh my goodness. Goodness gracious. What's this? Something white fell out of the locker. Where's the glove? Where's the glove? It's literally right here. Tagged evidence from the SL9, extremely thin rubber glove.
But sir, it's been my experience that things fall out when doors are open. I often fall out and roll great distances when I open my car door.
Man, if I see that weird looking mascot again. We can't be sure that the item was completely inside the locker to begin with. What do you mean? The sensor triggers the lock when the door is shut. What if something was inserted, say, between the sensor and the door? Inserted? Like the glove. Yes. Just like the glove, Your Honor. Oh, there's nothing there. Oh, there was like a white piece of fabric on that locker when we were investigating. That's crazy. There's gotta be something with that. This white thing wasn't inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor.
Oh, I understand now, sir. It's just like my tie. 2 out of 3 times it gets stuck in the door when I get out of my patrol vehicle, sir. Instead of the door closing, my tie chokes me.
But the object would have to be extremely thin to fit in the door. Not only that, it would also have to block electrical currents. It would need to be an insulator. Yes, an insulator. But at the crime scene, there just might have been something that fits the description.
But sir, by insulator, you don't mean...
I think I finally got this figured out. I already know what it is. Very well. Will the defense please provide the relevant evidence? What was this insulator that got stuck in the locker door? Obviously, very obviously this glove. I found this near the locker, a thin rubber glove. But we can't be sure that was in the victim's locker. It has a tag that says SL9 incident.
Nani?
This video seems to depict the victim opening the locker. But that isn't the case. The lit lamp attests to this. On the day of the crime, even I could have opened that locker. Is this not so, Officer Meekins?
Sir, it would appear so, sir.
Order, order. I'm jiving. So are we to believe then that the victim, whom this witness stabbed in the evidence room, was not Detective Goodman? Do not be misled, Your Honor. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? The defense has merely demonstrated that possibility and nothing more. The victim in the video was indeed Bruce Goodman. The prosecution will offer one more testimony to prove this. What? Officer Meekins, please testify about this. What?
Sir, me, sir? I'm not sure what you're referring to, sir.
Oh my god. Edgeworth just...
Oh, you mean that, sir? Of course, sir.
Is this a joke? I don't know. I think Edgeworth's manipulating our poor boy. Very well, begin your testimony. Mystery Man 2. Here we go. Let's tell us about it, Meekins.
Yeah. There's one other thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir. To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card. When an ID card is used as a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had used this card. His card. Sorry, I'm nervous.
An ID card record, I see. I have the ID card record right here, Your Honor. Is that the same? The ID used at 5:14 is that of the victim. Just before the crime, Yes, without a doubt, this is the victim's ID. However, one thing does strike me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been due for transferal. Why were there so few people using this room? This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases. Special cases? Extremely violent cases involving police staff. Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end. Me too, although it doesn't make much of a difference. There were only a few cases up for transferal there, and most were cleaned up by noon. Right, I see. Now let us move on to the cross-examination. Okay, cool. Mystery Man 2. Let's press. So unlike your earlier testimony, you believe this to be rock solid, do you?
Yes, sir. Solid as stone, sir. If my hand was wrapped in bandages, I'd even give the V for victory sign, sir.
Couldn't he just use his right hand for that? Let's hear him out fully. As we've seen, one never knows what he might say until the very last second. Let's just press. Is that card hanging from your neck one of these ID cards?
Yes, sir. This card right next to my cuff, sir. I keep it here so I will never forget it.
But what if someone were to steal it from you, keeping it out in the open like that?
Maybe I shouldn't wear it around my neck. Remember when I said 2 out of 3 times my tie gets stuck when I get out of my car? Well, the remaining time, it's my ID card that gets stuck. Instead of the door closing, my ID card chokes me.
Maybe I should just leave this one alone. At any rate, each police officer only has one ID card. Both the police department and the prosecutor's office can attest to this. Please proceed with your testimony. Let it be noted that this is the record the witness referred to. Let me see. Yes, that would be it. The detective went in twice. Did it? What's the matter? According to this, Mr. Edgeworth, your name is on here. So it is, Your Honor. Yeah, it went, Edgeworth, Meekins, Goodman, Meekins. Is that man in blue a murderer? Y'all better not be referring to... You got the wrong color, kid. Yeah. It would seem the inquiry committee will want to speak with you again today. I have nothing to be ashamed of regarding my actions or their consequences. For now, let us continue with the cross-examination. Poor Mr. Edgeworth. It must be so difficult for him. Edgy boy.
At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card.
Earlier, I believe you testified that when you asked the man to show his ID card, he pulled out a knife on you.
Yes, sir. He didn't show me any ID card, sir.
Don't you think that's odd? I mean, if he had his ID card, all he had to do was show it to you. There wouldn't be any reason to draw a knife.
Maybe he just panicked.
Everything stems from contradictions. Let's point them out. Mr. Wright, what do you think? I'm confused. What? The problem with this ID card testimony is far too obvious. It's not like Edgeworth to miss something like this. You're thinking too hard about it. Come on, let's show them what we've got. Bruh, making me feel stupid. What? One must use their ID card. There's a record of it. At the time of the crime, it's got to be here, right? Someone went in twice. Yeah, we got the record on 221. Bruce Goodman. So, okay, so Edgeworth went in for some reason. Meekins goes in, puts the blue badger down, leaves. 5:15, Bruce goes in. 5:14, Meekins goes in. Why couldn't this have been Goodman? It's something with the ID card. There's a blank one at the top because we don't know who 7777777 is. We have Goodman's ID card right here. If we check it, is there anything here? What is this? Oh, a name and ID number: Sergeant Bruce Goodman, 5842189. 54. I literally don't care. Okay. Is that the same number, actually? Hold on, maybe that's not the same number. 5842189. Yeah, that's the same number. I thought maybe it wouldn't have been. That doesn't really have anything to do with the case right now. The scene of the stabbing at a detective in the PD. This might be helpful. No, not helpful. Shucks. Jar piece. So the detective had used his ID card at the time. So it's something to do with time. Should we just like present this to just for craps and giggles? I don't know. I think maybe we do that. Found the scene of the wrapped in the defendant's. Okay. That I don't think that has anything to do with that. Knife wound. So, record of parking. Entered the lot at 5:12. So wait, Edgeworth's car entered at 5:12. Wait, that wouldn't make any sense, would it? Because according to the time of the cards, the stabbing happened at 5:15. But if Edgeworth's car is entering the parking lot at 5:12, then how is the stabbing happening and the body ends up in the car? Because when the... Alright, I'm gonna present this first, and if this doesn't work, I'm gonna present the parking pass. That doesn't work. Okay, the music didn't stop. Okay, let's try the parking pass. Nah, shucks, I didn't mean to do that. It's far too obvious. Yeah, this is the one that they friggin' okay. Bum 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 bum. Bum bum bum. No, wow, that wasn't it either. Okay, never mind. I don't know what it is. Oh, crap. That's 2 strikes already. Frick. Shoot, what should I present here? So, it's not this ID card record. Evidence from a past case. Recovers fingerprints. Tagged evidence. Shucks. Can you highlight the ID card? I don't know. We've already looked at everything there is to look at on here. I can present it, I think. But I don't know what presenting it would do. Oh my dear God, I just noticed it too. There's a handprint on this. And in the footage, there was no handprint on the Blue Badger. I don't know what that means, but it's worth writing down in the backlogs of our mind for right now. White enameled shoe. Handprints. From handprints for comparison with fingerprint file. Can I use this on something? Or can I, like, use this on the... No, I really wanted to use it on the card. I actually really don't know what to do here. Frick, dude. Can only be submitted to the chief of police. ID of everyone who entered. Frick, I don't know. Let's present the ID card. Let's do it. I didn't mean to check it. I meant to present it. Okay. Alright, that's what it is. Okay. I don't know what is the contradiction here, but I guess we'll find out. Wait one moment, Officer Meekins.
I'm not good at waiting, sir.
I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the crime scene. That makes sense. When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room at the police department. I mean the other crime scene. The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card. A lost item report? Oh, but it shows that Detective Goodman had lost something on the day of the crime. Something important enough to fill out this report. Let me guess. You believe this something to be his ID card, right? Holy crap. I can't say for sure, but there's a high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card. Order. So now, what does this all mean? It can only mean one thing. It doesn't even require much thought. The man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card. But he dressed as him too, that's weird. Order. Does prosecution have a response? I have only one thing to say to the defense. Bravo, Mr. Wright. Bravo. Allow me to summarize the defense's argument. At 5:15 p.m. on the day of the crime, the man in the evidence room Officer Meekins encountered was not Detective Goodman. There are 2 grounds to support this. First, the locker in the evidence room was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright? Yes. What's he up to? That being the case, we must inevitably arrive at a single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murderer in the evidence room is also fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder. That is... well, I guess that's right. Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago you seemed content to be pointing your finger around. This isn't going to end well. What are you up to? Well, well, it seems you've finally realized exactly what you've gone to such lengths to prove. Explain yourself, Mr. Edgeworth. The defense has already done the explaining for me. The victim in this video is a fake, which means a murder did not take place at the police department at 5:15 on the day of the crime. So the real crime could only take place at one location, the underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office, the murderer being Lana Skye, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness observed the moment the defendant used the murder weapon. Why did I prove that the... whatever. We'll figure out where this is going. I knew that testimony is way too shabby. It was all a trap from the beginning. Crap. The activity in the evidence room still leaves many questions unanswered. Who exactly was the victim Officer Meekins encountered? And where did this person disappear to? However, this trial's purpose is to examine the murder of Detective Goodman. Just so, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, you have to do something, or else Lana... What do I do? How am I supposed to get myself out of this mess? We're gonna object, obviously. One moment, Your Honor. What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me you're objecting to what you've just proven. Of course not. But I almost walked right into the prosecution's trap. What are you talking about? The cross-examination has proven one thing and one thing only. The security video did not show the actual murder. Okay. Does it pan back one more time? Yeah, it pans back to Meekins on the ground. How does the video end, actually? Oh, are we just now seeing how the... There's a handprint on the Blue Badger! That just appeared. Whoa, that just... Wait, did it just appear just now? However, it cannot be said that it is unrelated to the murder in the parking lot. Yeah, the handprint. Specifically, large amounts of blood traces were found in the evidence room. Ooh. The defense demands further examination into the truth of the matter. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor. If this court were to examine this further, other witnesses will be necessary. Is the prosecution prepared? I'm sorry, Your Honor. The prosecution considered the incident at the police department to be unrelated. We have not prepared any other witnesses for this incident. This just might be my chance. Time to call a certain Texas Ranger to the stand. Mr. Wright, do you mean... Your Honor, the defense would like to request a specific witness. Oh? Whom do you have in mind? Someone we have reason to believe knows the truth. The truth behind the activities that took place in the evidence room. The prosecution requests to hear this person's name before deciding whether or not to comply. Very well then, Mr. Wright, this person whom you would have testify, what is his or her name? Mother effin' Jake Marshall. Officer Jake Marshall. Why him? I can't let Edgeworth know everything just yet. He's in charge of the evidence room. I feel we should hear what he has to say. The prosecution agrees to the defense's request. Since he was responsible for guarding the room, we should hear his testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We shouldn't need longer than 20 minutes to prepare. Very well. The court will take a 30-minute recess while the witness is subphonied. Cool. That's a word I haven't seen before. Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time? We will, Your Honor. Court is now in recess. Woo! Sup, Lana? How you doing, cutie? Sorry. Sorry, Emma. ... There's no stopping you, is there, Mr. Wright? Nope, the right train is just... You know what I'm saying? What do you mean? You called for Jake Marshall. It seems you've figured everything out. I haven't figured anything out. Lana, you're the one who knows everything. Emma. You always know everything. Why don't you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you. I don't recall ever asking for his protection. How can you be so cold? Don't you trust us? Don't you trust me? Oh! hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, Big Dicky Gumshoe. We love him. Yes, sir. My favorite character. Ew. Guess I am. I'll come back later. Oh, I want to talk with you, Gumshoe. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? He's back. You got a lot of nerve, pal. Making a detective run around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Sorry, detective. You better be, pal. Hey. Oi, oi! Oi, oi! I didn't see you there, Chief Prosecutor Sky. That's okay. So, have you brought what I asked? Oh. Oh, ho, oh, ho, ho, oh, ho, 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 oh, ho, 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 ho. You mean this, right? My apologies, detective. Due to my present circumstances, I was forced to use Mr. Wright's name when making my request. My name? Never in a million years would I have thought it was you who asked me. Could I bother you to bring me the SL9 incident files? I'll need them by noon. Talk about crazy. The SL9 incident? But Lana, that's... I thought Mr. Wright might need them, so I had them brought here. Here, you might do well to read them. I can't believe you. The chief prosecutor were a witness in that case. Miss Sky was a witness? Joe Dark killing solved 2 years ago. Take it from me, you don't want anything to do with serial murderers. Murderers! I love the word murder. Oh, what? Now I brought you your stuff, you're just gonna ignore me? Emma? Why? Why is your name in here? What? My name's in there? I don't know. Unless... No, it couldn't be. Lana! This SL9 incident, is that... That's the classification number the police filed it under. 2 years ago. The rest of the world knew it as the Joe Dark killings. The Joe Dark... No, Lana. That's over with. No! Emma, wait. She ran away. You know what? I just remember I gotta be somewhere. Sorry, pal, but I'm out of here. Dude, is Emma like a murderer or something? Jake Marshall, Angel Star, Damon Gant, Miles Edgeworth. Not to mention Lana and Emma. Everyone involved in this case is connected to those killings 2 years ago. This can't be just a coincidence. Knowing you, you just might be able to figure it out. Time to get back to the trial, Mr. Wright. Best of luck. I better take a good look at this file. To be continued. Jeez. What the frick? We're gonna find out what's up with this. We're gonna save our game. Cool beans, brother. Typewriter noises. Alright, let me access... Oh, I don't even have Emma here. Holy cow. Okay, I want to look at this. Alright. Incident number SL9 closed. Perpetrator Joe Dark, crime serial murder, sentence death. Victims Edward Jones, Jason Knight, Eth Kirby, Rachel Moss, Jeb Bates, and Neil Marshall. Ooh, okay. So Jake Marshall, family member. Brother, maybe. Head prosecutor, Miles Edgeworth. Okay. Witnesses, Lana Sky, Emma Sky. Investigation. Executive investigators, Damon Gant, Lana Sky. Head investigator, Bruce Goodman. Okay. Investigators, Jake Marshall, Angel Star. Cool. So that's all we have about that. The court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. Emma didn't come back. Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. The officer in charge regarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. Oh, here he is. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Me, partner. Oh, hold up. Me, partner. Oh, I'm just a man, same as you, wandering the trails of civilization. Occasionally helping the elderly cross intersections when needed. Yes, we get it. Oh, I know, you're a patrolman. As for my name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling wind calling it out. Oh, how do I wear these two at the same time? Hold on, I'm gonna figure this out. Don't worry, Bambinas, I'm gonna figure this out. There we go. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor. Howling wind? I've never heard Edgewood described that way before. Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day the crime took place. Is this correct? According to the papers, partner. What do you mean? A desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up. Maybe it's best if we get on with this quickly. Please share with us your testimony of the day of the crime. In plain old English. Day of the crime. Is my hat weird? It definitely feels weird. Something's up. Anyway. Bambina. Let's get the day of the crime. My job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard. They said I was supposed to make rounds 2 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. If I remember right, I was at a street side saloon at the time it went down. I'm just an innocent traveling man, so you're out of ammo. So if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail. Damn, that's short. I can't say I particularly care for your attitude. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Damn. Wait a minute. What do you mean by 2 security systems? I mean the security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those. Yes, well, what about the fingerprint-activated locks on the evidence lockers? Fingerprint-activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those? He's not being very helpful. He's not that good with machines, or with following orders. Everyone's got their weaknesses now, don't they, Mr. Prosecutor? This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours. Day of the crime. I'm gonna take this off now. I'm sorry. Bop. My job is to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard. Hold it. How exactly did you keep an eye on the evidence room? I just made sure nothing moved in the security camera monitor. That room's so still, even time dies in there. And I was just a caretaker who entered the recordings. You entered them? Videos of nothing aren't that useful. When the time would come, I'd erase the tape. If nothing unusual is recorded, tapes are to be erased every 6 hours. Each time I'd erase the tape, it felt like I was erasing a part of my life. This guy's a flair for the dramatic, but it isn't going to do him any good. So in actuality, you don't physically enter the evidence room? They said I was supposed to make rounds 2 times a day, but that ain't my style. Hold it! But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right? And you heard a word I said, partner? I told you that ain't my style. I'm afraid I don't understand. No desperado I know lets rules get in their way. No desperados I know join the police force. So, Officer Marshall, on the day of the crime, just between you and me, I didn't set foot in the evidence room that day. It was a rubber glove stuck in the victim's locker. Do you know anything about that? Sorry, partner. Can't say I do. I haven't been in that crypt in weeks. How does this guy avoid being fired? 2 security systems. Hold it. You used to be a detective, so you've used the evidence room in the past, correct? Of course. Back in the day, my locker was a gold mine of evidence. And yet, you didn't know about the fingerprint locking mechanism? Sorry, partner. It ain't good. I ain't good with machines. I couldn't even tell you how a bike works. That's quite incredible. The sensors on the locker handles cannot be seen. It's well known that some detectives are unaware of their presence. Now that he mentions it, Detective Gumshoe said something like that, too. At any rate, it doesn't seem that this is relevant to the case. Can you tell us what you were doing when the crime took place? Alright, I think this is where we'll present, but what were you doing in a place like that? I was eating spaghetti. Not even Angel's steak lunches can beat that parlor's Von Goal sepia pasta. Do you mean to tell us you abandoned your police duties to eat some noodles? Not all desperados eat tacos, partner. That's not what I meant. I hope this has at least taught you a lesson. That's strange. This is unusually where Edgewood says, "Did you not want to raise it this year?" We present here, I believe, and we will present the bloody handprint that belongs to you! Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you as odd? That is, you being called in to testify like this? After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime. And yeah, you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner. It's quite simple. You left a very large trail at the scene. Or to be exact, a handprint. Listen real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects, that is. Make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints will be in there. Ooh, no, no, no. It's blood. I only wish it were, officer. But you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood. Witness, what's the meaning of this? Your blood-stained fingerprints were at the crime scene? The blood was wiped away. However, a luminol test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall? It seems to me there ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders. I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall? About the blood-stained fingerprints? Let's hear it. I killed him! Very well, you may begin your testimony about your fingerprints found at the scene of the crime. Blood-stained fingerprints, boys. Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the blood-stained handprint. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Or, didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? I say, I had nothing to do with it. Didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? The witness's explanation appears valid, although there's room for doubt. Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. This guy's hiding something. I can feel it. That's my chance to prove it. Let's press him. For all he's worth. I'm just gonna press everywhere. That's because you pay your respects once a month? Yeah, that's right. That one more thing. That locker happens to be mine. What? What do you mean? I mean what I said. That's not the locker I used when I was a detective. The locker that was. All that's in there now, though, is a heap of broken dreams. I see. It'd be strange if my prints weren't all over that locker. Apparently, his fingerprint data was never removed from that locker's programming. He must have been using the fingerprint lock all this time without ever knowing it. Found on Marshall's own locker. Cool. Press. That's so convenient. So then, what about the bloody handprint? Wasn't mine. It's no mister. Please explain. My locker's covered my fingerprints. It just so happened. The chances of that happening are 1,000,000 to 1. On the contrary, one could argue just the opposite. The chances of that are not happening are 1,000,000 to 1. Get one thing straight, partner. You ain't gonna get no reward from me with a mere fingerprint. You wanna know why? Completely unrelated. Unrelated? They're as different as night and day. Kinda like cereal and cereal. One's gotta do with breakfast while the other's a type of moida. He's right, although seemingly like they're totally different. I don't see what homonyms have to do with this. What do you mean by this? How do you know that? I may be a loner, but I do my job. I keep up on the reports. There was a bloodstain at the scene, thought to be left by the murderer. That's right. I was on Detective Gumshoe's locker. However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint. Oh yeah, I think we tried that too. So that would mean the murderer, wearing gloves, happened to place their hand on top of Officer Marshall's fingerprint. That's the only logical conclusion. Are you starting to get the picture, partner? The picture? This seal of blood in the desert is just food for the buzzards. There's only one reality, and that's this. Security tape. So long as my trail isn't in there, you can't see otherwise. We gotta hit him with that video. Yes, Your Honor. Okay. It wasn't me in that video, right, partner? Buddy boy. Okay, so I thought there might be like a date that's like reveals fingerprints within blah 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 blah. 7777. Oh, I don't know, dude. Can we check this? Because this might it might reveal something. Could he be 7777? He might be, but I really don't know what that would mean for us. How do I fast forward this crap again? I don't remember. So there's... Oh, wait, there is a handprint on the Blue Badger. Okay. He's not wearing gloves! Dude, he's not wearing gloves. Dude, the culprit in this video is not even wearing gloves. Oh my god. You can kind of see him a little bit, too. Oh my god. The knife! Oh my god, is that the knife that he uses to scrape himself? I don't know. I think we gotta present this. Nope, we don't gotta present that. Okay. Frick, 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 frick. I think you should present it. Yeah. Well, let's try this. No. Damn. Oh, whoops, that didn't go so well. But he's not wearing gloves. Oh. The bloodstain. Okay. Is there anything we can present on this? The bloodstain and the fingerprint are unrelated. The prints had been wiped. Okay, frick, okay. What are we gonna do by chance? I don't really think there's any way to contradict that. It's gotta be... I think it's gotta be this, right? No, it can't be the Blue Badger. There's no way, right? Was allegedly dancing in the evidence room at the time of the murder at the PD. Yeah, I don't really think there's anything to, like... Maybe we can check it? I don't know. Like, what is that, though? What's up with that handprint, bro? Okay, so we gotta find a way to prove that it was him in the video. But, like, I really don't know. So what is this, by the way? Like, what even is this? The jar has no bottom, so the whole... Wait, that... Why would a jar have no bottom? This has gotta be... What's really a jar? Some kind of weird telescope. Whoa, wait, it might be a weird telescope. Wait. I don't know, maybe I'm onto something here. Maybe it's like a... What could this be? I don't know, this might be the wrong thing, but I think this is definitely sus, right? It's like a jar of some sort. There's a trace of old blood. This was evidence. Oh, it was evidence in SL9. Okay, never mind. Then this isn't related at all. This isn't, like, related. What? Oh my god. Ah, what do we do here? Recovers fingerprints from handprints for comparison from fingerprint file. Oh my god. The print had been wiped. Oh, frick. I don't have that many, like, things to... I don't have that many chances. I gotta really think about this. Wait, did he... It wasn't me in that video, right, partner? Did he say... No, he doesn't... He never said when he entered. So it was just for 221. So he can argue, like, oh, that was found before that day, partner. So there's no... So I can't present that. Video... I don't know. The video didn't work on any of the three statements that... Let me watch this again. I really wanna, like... Okay, handprint there. This is so convenient that it's in front of this freaking... Okay, whatever. It's in front of this specific locker, too. Okay. And then... I'm trying to look at that locker. I'm not seeing anything suspicious. I don't know, you can kind of, like, make out that that's him, too. That's wacky. There's Meekins going in. Doesn't it kind of seem like that's the knife he uses to, like... Doesn't it kind of seem... Maybe the Badger got moved? I don't know, though. That's just so weird. That's... Oh, my God. Hold on. If we watch this again... Huh... I don't know. Well, I can't let him squirm out of this one. I've got to find something. Something decisive to tie Marshall to this crime. Did I press everywhere? I pressed here, I pressed here, I pressed here, I pressed here. Didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? I said, how did you know that? And then there was no fingerprints. Too bad. Can I press this? What do you mean by that? You want to tie me to this crime, isn't that right, partner? If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have. But that video is next to useless. It's full of blind spots. Blind spots? Places you can't see. The camera's panning back and forth. The floor isn't shown. If someone was familiar with the camera's position, they could leave the room without being caught on tape. We don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright. Well, Mr. Wright, if you can show us evidence in this video that implicates Officer Marshall was present, please do so now. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, we're in it. We're freaking in it. Very well. Allow me to point out your mistake. Ooh. Officer Marshall. Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might wind up being the one making the mistake. Now then, let's have another look at the video. Show us this incriminating evidence. I have no idea what this is. The handprint is there. I'm looking at Marshall's locker and this locker, Gumshoes, where the handprint was. That's like the two things I'm looking at. Okay, Marshall's locker. That's on the very left there. Okay, so the cloth falls out. There's Meekins. Okay, this is the knife here. Hold on. Marshall locker is... No, that's Gumshoe's locker. I don't know, dude. That's so freaking... Okay. Isn't that knife kind of look like his? I don't know. I think it does, personally. Maybe I'm wrong. It does kind of... I don't know. Okay, so there's Meekins chilling. Oh, buddy! Oh, buddy! Bringing our attention back to the security camera is a mistake I'm afraid you'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall. The days are short in Texas, and so are our tempers. Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less? Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video. Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner. The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video. Your locker, boy. Look at it. Oh my god. That locker with the white cloth sticking out? That was the witnesses, I believe. Now then, let's rewind the video a bit. Bum bum bum. Banana bum 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 banana da 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 na 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 banana na 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 bum bum banana na na. No white cloth, no white cloth. Oh, the white cloth is gone. What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall? Then, when the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then it suddenly appeared. There was only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away. Order, order. It would seem that's the only... Hold your horses. Sorry, partner, but you got the wrong man. So what if my locker was open? That doesn't mean I'm the one that opened it. The murderer needed to hide something, so he opened a locker and stuck it in. It's not my fault you happened to choose mine. Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man? Because you're an idiot. This guy isn't just playing dumb. He really doesn't know. I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person who can open that particular locker. Oh yeah? I call your bluff. You say I opened that locker. Now prove it. Oh my god, you're an actual idiot. Indicated only the fingerprint sensor. We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by the detectives they belong to. What kind of crazy talk is this? Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less? Ooh. I only got 1 word for you, partner. No! Damn. He went no. Order. Witness, explain yourself. If this is a joke, it's the worst I've ever heard. I assure you this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime. Murdering people? Olay, please answer the question. What is he now, a bullfighter? That's alright, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure the rest out from here. We can? Have a look at these floor plans. There is no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall. If that's so, then where was the witness? It seems Mr. Wright has an answer. That's right. The only possible conclusion. Well then, let's hear it. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime? He was Goodman. Officer Marshall was standing right here. There? But that's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was. No. Correct. Unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in the video is Officer Marshall. It was you, dressed up like Detective Goodman. But that's preposterous! Officer Meekins witnessed the detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd known for sure. He didn't see his face. May I point out, though, that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted. When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his card, sir. Yes, and how did Detective Goodman respond? He suddenly pulled a knife on me. Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why didn't he just show it? Yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it. The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card. Oh, I get it. If he had showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say to this, Officer Marshall? You got quite an imagination, partner. We got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence? He's still denying it. You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as the victim. I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative deposition. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Well, you can't roast the same thing twice in a row, sorry. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim? Who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that. I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't take the desert heat. This can't be happening. It's so obvious he's the one. What can I do? You stupid bitch, Phoenix. It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you've run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. The basics? Where were you at the time of the murder? That would be what Mia used to tell me. Phoenix, try thinking outside the box. And not at my freaking chest, please. I shouldn't look for... I shouldn't look at... Crap! Disguise! But rather, I should look for the evidence that came about because he was in disguise. Why do you think this locker was opened in the first place? What do you mean? There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later, as it has been. Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker. According to the defense's argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Then, after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason. The fact that a white cloth was sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that he opened it in order to put the cloth inside. So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth? Perhaps the video is the key to all our unanswered questions. I don't have any evidence, so this video is my only possible shot. Okay. I think it's the gloves thing. The witness opened to put away the white cloth. Please show us why this witness had to open the locker. Frick, dude. Oh my god. So he's not wearing... Are those gloves? I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. Oh, shoot. Oh! Wait. I think I get it. Okay, hold on. Yeah, I think that's the case. So, let me explain my rationale here. I think that Meekins, being the real OG that he is, freaking got this little blood mark on Goodman during the fight. But, or Goodman, sorry, yeah, Jake, what was that notification? I need to check that. Thank you, Nubanati, for the host. Very appreciated. So, if he had walked out of the evidence room with blood on his shoulder, that would have been sus, right? So he had to put the white jacket in the thing. I think this is it. Yeah, the music stopped. That's right. For some reason, you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman and entered the evidence room, though I don't know to what end yet. Yeah. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood. A bloody white coat. You couldn't just walk out like that, so you hid the coat in your locker. Not bad, partner. Damn. Nice. Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth? Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, if you were only half as persistent then as you are today, we all wouldn't have to be here now would we? Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did. All of it. Alright. It seems the time has come. Marshall's confession. I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out and managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. Okay, so the supposed victim was really you. But there's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor. It was way too much blood for such a small donation. Let's just press everywhere. I had to do it that day. What do you mean, let it die? When you say it, you mean... Do you even have to ask, partner? The SL9 incident. 2 years have passed since that case was closed. It was going to completely end with the transferal that day. Not if I have anything to do with it. That incident's not over. But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room? When a case is closed, only the case's lead detective can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time. No matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine. Probably because his brother or someone in his family is one of the victims. But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it? That day was my last chance. That's why Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman? If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transfer, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which won't get me anywhere. So you did it to fool the security camera. And the detective's ID card. I stole that the morning of the incident. So that really was why Goodman started filling out that lost item report. I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot. The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall. So essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight. What do you mean, partner? I mean the fingerprint-activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open that locker yourself. But he could because he had a rubber glove just happened to get stuck in the door. Oh, just happened. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out. Let's press. You pulled a knife on Officer Meekins and tried to drive him off? Let's just say I was a little surprised. I'd only planned on him being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time. Officer Meekins certainly is a one-in-a-million type of person, mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID. I'll have to think a little more about his raise this year. When did Edgeworth get so much influence? Anyways, he threw himself at me, and I ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry that it had to turn out that way. With me knocking him out and everything. By the way, what happened to your knife? Oh, you mean that?
It is the same knife! Oh my god! Dude, it's the same freaking knife!
I don't know what to say. So you knocked Officer Meekins out and I managed to escape. Yeah, let's press here. So you did your research beforehand. And those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would make a difference, though. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left. However, you bloated your coat in your struggle with Officer Meekins. If someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there. What was Officer Meekins doing during that time? What else? He was sleeping like a baby. So what you're saying is, on that day, wasn't any murder. Wasn't any murder. But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place. What are you, blind? The victim shown on that tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner. So you stole the evidence from the locker? Actually, no, I didn't. Why not? When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone. What? Mr. Edgeworth? Where is that evidence? It's still missing, Your Honor. Damn, bruh. Okay, Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence. Edgeworth was in there. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing? Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer. Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer, this is no small offense. Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. It can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary. Not that salary cuts are ever a valid solution. Like I said, this isn't your case. This one is mine. And I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with. The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more. I can't just forget the SL9 incident. You know why? I do know why. Your brother, or someone, right? Let's check. Neil Marshall. Right there. Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident. Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner. I have the SL9 incident file here. The name Marshall is mentioned in here. In a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man? Neil Marshall? Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the name. 2 years ago. Oh, he received the same lousy prosecutor award you got. What? A prosecutor? He must be talking about the King of Prosecutors award. Now I remember.
Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did. That's right. He was killed, and the case fell into your hands. But what's his relation to you? He was my brother. Oh, he took his hat off. Hold on, I'm about to. He was my brother. He was investigating the murders with Damon Gant, the deputy chief of police. Yeah, bruh. The group of detectives I was part of worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Hello, John Dark, I guess. John Dark. My brother fought Dark and was killed. That was the first time Dark left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed. At least according to the public records. What do you mean? My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. And that's it? That's your reason for your insane actions? There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime. That was the last day the SL9 case could be reopened. Not satisfied with its resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day. The things that happen by chance never cease to amaze. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department. But what about the blood? It's gotta be more than just that. What about the blood? So if Nerdon was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot was the real one. Which, in turn, means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye. Objection! But wait! A verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial. Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today. But there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department. Seems to me, this boy's got the draw on you, partner. All of the mysteries of the police department have been resolved, no doubt about it. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Skye, and the testimony of one Miss Angel Starr is completely incontestable. If you have a response, make it a single word or less. Objection. That's my ARG. What? I rest my case. Sorry, I gave him Marshall's voice for some reason. Seems this trial has reached a conclusion. There's no room for doubt. Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time disproving the alleged murder at the police department. There's no doubt what I proved yesterday is true. The apparent murder on the security camera's tape really was fake, but I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana guilty. Now then, the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant. Hold it! Who? Emma? Emma! Your Honor, wait. Emma, the defense has an objection. A scientific objection. Right? What do you mean, right? Mr. Wright, are you this girl's guardian? No, in a sense. Please, Your Honor, all I'm asking for is a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please. I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3. Oh, what a nice guy. I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out the SL9 incident referred to the Joe Dark killings. Now that she mentions it, the names of both Skye sisters were in that file. But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day? So I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing. The other handprint. You mean the traces of blood found in Detective Gumshoe's locker? But no fingerprints were found on it, right? No, but I figured if I examined it scientifically, I'd be sure to find a clue. So I ran over there and looked at it again. So did you find something? No. Huh? Sorry, I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after you fucking bitch. God damn it.
Is that all? Please don't be mad. I'm just a high school student. And I'm just an attorney. But Mr. Wright, these traces of blood are the only clue we have. If we can't find something wrong with them, please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you. Me? Oh boy. Dude, time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright, with regard to the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain? It appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this? Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I can't be of more use, but still, if you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, Lana will be... Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day. Yes, Your Honor. If ever I needed it concrete, it's now. What could have been wrong with that handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? I think I know what it is. Could there be something I'm missing? I object. I object. I think I know what it is. This handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows a contradiction. The only thing that seems clear is your grasping, Mr. Wright. You've been staring pretty intensely at those floor plans. Just tell me, is there a problem with them? Yes, this is strange. Take a good look at these floor plans. Something is missing. Missing? You mean something that hasn't been drawn on there? Yes, something that, when drawn, will completely change the meaning of the blood mark. Let us pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Wright. With all this evidence here, there's got to be something I can use. Which item? I think it's this. Take that! Hello, Marshall. When did you come back? What about that piece of plywood? The Blue Badger, mascot of the police force. Defender of truth, guardian of proof. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. The Blue Badger is not here. So watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the scene of the crime. Blue Badger. Well, what? That's right. So long as the Blue Badger is dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint at this spot on the locker. What? What? Oh, even Marshall doesn't know, dude. So that means, just what exactly does this mean? It means it can't be done. What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniably found on that locker. Don't look at me. I didn't put it there. Mr. Wright, think it through scientifically. Emma. Hi, welcome back. On that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the Blue Badger to the evidence room, right? After he put it down, it would be impossible to leave a hamper on the locker. So that must mean this blood mark was left there before the Blue Badger was brought in. There's only one person who went in the evidence room before the Blue Badger was brought in. I will not allow such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom. It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once, but twice! But how? One time was captured on this tape, taken by the security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hand, from which a trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is, the other time... Bum 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 bum. Someone bled prior to the struggle shown on this tape. It had to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered. That's ridiculous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim. The murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be a fake. However, that does not explain the blood mark found on the locker. So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that proves when it occurred. When did the first incident occur? To summarize, the defense claims that prior to Officer Meekins being cut by Jake Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman, another incident took place in that evidence room. That's right. The blood mark on the locker proves this. Very well, then tell us, when did this first incident occur? Proof must be presented. I think there's only one piece of evidence. Dude. Take that! If the crime took place inside the evidence room, then the killer would have had to enter it. And in order to do so, an ID card would have been required. An ID card? Oh, the ID card record. Miles freaking Edgeworth, brother. Officer Meekins brought the Blue Badger panel into the evidence room at, let's see here, 4:50 p.m. If the crime took place before that time, then it would be 4:40 p.m. Miles Edgeworth, just what have you done? I never would have figured you had the nerve, boy. Drop the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out it couldn't have been me. Nope, I ain't getting it. I'm afraid I don't understand either. It's clear from the luminol test that blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood. That means the blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer. I would have had just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible. Then that would mean the crime must have taken place before Mr. Edgeworth entered the evidence room. Okay, well, it's the 7-man. Let's look at the chart again. There's one dude. There's only one other card number remaining. 777 7777. Talk about a lucky number. But wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room? Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. That's the only plausible explanation. He went in with 7777777. Mr. Edgeworth, please look into this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is 7777777. That's 17 too many, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that ID card. At least, at present. What? Explain yourself, son. The ID number 7777777 belongs to someone with a rank of captain or higher. Someone who is a so-called executive officer. We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity. I object, but that's ridiculous. Just how? I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There is one situation in which we can be granted such authority. If an official charge filed against an executive is accepted. Official charge? You're all alike, aren't you? With your cover-ups and your forgeries. That's how the prosecutor's office operates. Thank you, Kiko Pollen, for the follow. Very appreciated, man. Thank you for tuning in. This is getting intense. There's only one person who we know that has a captain or higher, and that's Damon Gant. I'm kind of sus of him. I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate it if you would keep your slander to yourself. Slander, is it? Okay. Let me ask a question. Let me put on the hat for the new follower. Let me ask a question. Yes. No, not to you. To her, the defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive. Oh, Lana could have entered. That's true, too. So, it could be Damon or Lana. Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course we've looked up her ID number. And it's not... Oh, okay. Don't play me for a fool, partner. That's not what I want to ask. All I want to know is one thing about that incident. The SL9 incident? Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence? Oh? Hello, Lana. Do you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor? I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution in that trial. At the time, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least, I did. Lana, I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime within the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law. Defendant, just what are you saying? I'll ask... Okay, I guess we're both at the stand. I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say that you did? Chief Prosecutor, you didn't... I don't have to, Officer Marshall. Ugh. Why won't you answer him? Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. Ooh, she's sad. But Lana, even if it involved forging evidence. Dang, she a little forger, bruh. And she admitted to it, too. Marshall he is not happy. See? That's what I'm talking about. No. No! jeez. Oh, this is an order, order. Lana's remarks caused such a stir. Oh my god, I accidentally skipped all that. I did not mean to skip that, but it was going by automatically. And I kept clicking to proceed to the next one. Oh my god. Oh, so you're a prosecutor? Name every person you got arrested while they're innocent. Oh, you're a defense attorney? Name every criminal you've... I don't know. Jeez, dude. What is even going on anymore? Wow, that's how the trial ends? Wow, right in co-law offices. Man gonna end it. No, I'm gonna go for a little bit longer. I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. I'm sorry for what my sister said. Dude, we do not need a flashback. This literally happened less than 2 minutes ago. Please, crime-solving visual novel games, stop giving me flashbacks. I know what happened, okay? I read the text. I never knew that the SL9 incident was just another name for the Joe Dark killings. I thought it was John Dark. Why did I... sounds like everyone's heard about these killings but me. We watched the anime. He wants to read the manga. Lana wanted Dark convicted so badly. Is that how it goes? That's why she used me. That's why she used what happened to me. What do you mean, what happened to you? It's all there in the file. Joe Dark's last victim was Prosecutor Neil Marshall. When he murdered Officer Marshall's brother, he left behind an incriminating piece of evidence. But what did you have to do with those killings, Emma? On the night Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered, Joe Dark tried to kill me. What? He tried to kill you? Officer Marshall's brother, Neil, was only trying to save me. So that means you... Yes. I was a witness in the Joe Dark trial. I didn't see that one coming. I don't know. It's just the fact that, like, it'll be like... In Danganronpa, this happens too. I'm not going to act like they're innocent either. This happens way more in that game than it happens here, but it still happens here. It'll be like a character will say something, like, important, like, there are actually 16 students, and then, like, 50 times on from that point onward, it'll be like, I remember something like that. There are actually... Yeah, that's right. Like, no, we don't need to read it again. I'm sorry. Why didn't she testify in the court? It happened 2 years ago. It was right before this time of the year, too. It was a terrible thunderstorm that day. Unusual for the season. Is that what we saw in the beginning? In the beginning of the case? I was alone in my sister's office. We were planning to eat dinner together when she finished her work. And suddenly, this terrifying man came bursting into the office. Hello, I have arrived. I am the G-Man from Half-Life 2. Joe Dark. It seemed like he was running from someone. He pulled out a knife and screamed at me. I didn't know what was going on. Just then, Prosecutor Marshall showed up. Jake Marshall's brother. Joe Dark tried to take me hostage, but before he could, Mr. Marshall tackled him. And what happened? I'll never forget it. Lightning struck, and the lights went out. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning flashed outside the window, lighting up the office for an instant. What I saw then burned a permanent picture in my mind. I mean, a kid like 7 or 8 testified. Like, that's true. Yeah. What I saw then burned a permanent picture in my mind. I can still see it now. A permanent picture? Probably of the stabbing. I don't remember the moment when Dark stabbed Mr. Marshall. Oh, never mind. So you weren't able to testify about that? No, I was only asked about when I was attacked. That must be why why she made up the crime. Made it up? You mean provided bogus evidence? That's kind of an unprofessional word to use. The prosecutor's office wanted that guilty verdict so badly. Lana forged the evidence and Mr. Edgeworth used it. Edgeworth? Yes. But I'm sure he didn't know anything about it. He couldn't have known he was being given false evidence. Even so, that's when it all started. The rumors about Mr. Edgeworth, I mean. It's all my fault. If I could have just testified properly, none of this would have ever happened. So it's true. Even though he may not have known it, Edgeworth really was involved with falsifying evidence. Yeah, no shit. After that case ended, Lana was never the same. She became cold like she is today. She must not have been able to face up to what she did. Especially not to Emma. The infinity that went into her eyes, clearly. John Dark runs over and just sprinkles it. What did you see in the instant that crime occurred? They were kissing passionately. Dark knocked down Mr. Marshall and raised his knife. Neil Marshall was stabbed right in front of this poor girl. I don't remember what happened after that. Apparently I passed out. Wake up, sister! When I came to, Lana was cradling me in her arms. Poor Emma, you've been through so much. Oh, Jesus. Why is no one here? Did I come early or something? I couldn't bring myself to testify about that incident. I tried, but the words just wouldn't come out. I drew a picture, but it wasn't any good. 2 years ago. You must have been 14. That's understandable. Meanwhile, Cody from Trial 3 is like, yeah, he killed him. I saw it. Once it was all over, I made up my mind. I decided that when I grew up, I'd become a scientific investigator. I want to be able to fight crime with my testimonies and find the evidence to make an airtight case. That way, Lana would never have to forge any. I see. I think I'm finally starting to understand what makes Emma tick. There's still something about that bothers me about that crime. Something puzzling. There's something that's puzzling me, Emma. What is it? You said you were in Lana's office at the time, right? That's right. Why then would a serial killer come running in there? Not only that, but he was being chased by a prosecutor? Oh, there's no mystery there. Joe Dark had been taken in for questioning that day. Taken in for questioning? You mean by the police? Of course. This happened at the police department. He tried to run away halfway through the interview and fled to my sister's office. But why did he run all the way to your sister's office? It's like one of those boycott live-action movies. Because the detective offices in the questioning room are right across from the elevator. Across from the elevator? But Lana was the chief prosecutor, wasn't she? No, silly. Didn't I tell you? 2 years ago, Lana was a detective. She was the best in the entire force. What? That's news to me. After the Joe Dark case, she was transferred to the prosecutor's office and made chief prosecutor. Lana used to be a detective? I'd better have another talk with her. Let's have a talk with Lana. Hello, Mr. Wright. I see. It seems I keep causing you trouble. Falsifying evidence. I didn't think you were the type. Falsifying evidence, Lana. You silly goose. Criminals don't mind playing foul. Why should we? But Lana, if you're wrong, an innocent person might be found guilty. Believe me, I understand the risks. Lana, Emma told me about you. Oh? She told me that you used to wet the bed until you were 5 years old. Like, come on, that's a really long time. About how you were a detective 2 years ago, and how the SL9 incident was the reason for your transfer to the prosecutor's office. That's right. Could you fill me in on the details, especially about that unusual change of jobs? I suppose you have a right to know, Mr. Wright. I have the right to know. A lot of revelations were uncovered at the trial today, least of which was the fact that this case is largely connected to another one 2 years ago. Evidence from that case was stolen as well, though I suspected as much. I know how obsessive Officer Marshall can be. That trial, it really wasn't fair, was it? I believed in you, Lana. I believed that no matter what happened, you'd always stick to the truth. I couldn't be helped, Emma. She really is just like Dark Mia, you know what I'm saying? She's like, she's the shadow to Mia's Sonic, you know what I'm saying? Like, at that trial 2 years ago, I sold my soul to the devil. Well, all drama aside, the fact of the matter is at 5:15, there was no murder at the police department. Tell me it's not true, Lana. What the witness said, Miss Stars said? About you stabbing Mr. Goodman with a knife? Lana, I don't understand. Why won't you tell us? Emma, this doesn't involve just me. I don't think I've ever seen Lana look so phased before. She has a new sprite. It's true. I was a member of the Force 2 years ago. She was amazing! Oh, there's Mr. Damon. They still talk about the cases she and Chief Gant cracked together. I don't know. There might be a ship here. Who knows? Chief Gant. He was in the Deputy Chief of Police back then, but he still worked the crime scenes. Damon Gant. He was everything I aspired to be. They were the best team ever. They solved crimes before the reports could even be filed. Emma really idolizes her big sister. But now you're chief prosecutor. What happened? I always planned on becoming a prosecutor. The reason I became a detective was to gain experience investigating crime scenes so you could use that experience in court, right? Gant's help in the SL9 case was crucial to its resolution. After that, he became chief of police and arranged my transferal to the prosecutor's office. Maybe I should ask more about this investigation of theirs 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was second in command of the detectives investigating Dark. Second in command? That means the investigation led was Damon. That doesn't sound right. Yes, Deputy Chief Gant and I shared the same office and the same investigations. They even had the same office where they could hold hands a little bit, you know? Maybe even have a romantic little dinner. We led a team of the best detectives on the force. Yeah, Detective Goodman, whose case it was, Jake Marshall, and Angel Starr. It was the first time Marshall worked with his brother. He was quite gung-ho. Without a doubt, Joe Dark was the serial killer. We asked him to come in for questioning. We were desperate for evidence. That was when his final murder took place, when he tried to murder Emma. Prosecutor Marshall was trying to save me from Dark. You see, the first person who happened upon the scene of the crime was me. Now you tell us! Damon Gant and Neil Marshall were the ones questioning Dark that day. The investigation was in its final stages, and Dark must have suddenly panicked. So we waited until Gant and Marshall let their guards down, then fled the room. From there, he ran straight to the office shared by Deputy Chief Gant and myself. That's where he found me. So you were the first person to run to the scene, Lana? It appears so. I was filing some papers while Gant and Marshall were questioning Dark. Oh, in the back? That's weird. In the image, he like kind of has him on the down, and he's raising it up. Why is it in his back? When I returned to my office, I saw 3 bodies on the floor and smelled blood. 3 bodies. Marshall, the victim Emma, who had passed out. Oh, Marshall, the victim Emma, who had passed out, and the suspect Joe Dark. During the struggle, it seems Mr. Marshall struck a final blow before he died. Joe Dark had incurred a minor concussion and lay unconscious. What did you do? To be honest, I panicked. I picked up Emma, carried her out of the room, and just held her. Can't blame her after all her sister must have gone through. After that, I placed Dark under immediate arrest. Let me get this straight. You were all involved in the SL9 incident. That's right. Quite a coincidence. I don't buy it. What are you saying? There's no way everyone involved in this trial was also involved in that incident just by chance. But that case was solved 2 years ago. At least one person went to extremes because they didn't believe it was truly solved. Officer Marshall. Yes, his actions came as a surprise to me as well. Ever since his brother died, he's changed completely. I guess he wasn't convinced with the ruling against Joe Dark. Life doesn't end with the closing of a case. Everyone has to live the rest of their lives with the memories. That case just might not be over yet. Emma was assaulted by Dark at the police department, right? Yes, in the office that Damon Gant and I shared. The office that Mr. Gant now occupies by himself, the chief's office. Maybe we should have a look at the chief's office, the site of the final SL9 murder. Let's go! Do we gotta... Oh, we gotta go to the prosecutor's office, right? I don't even know anymore. No one's here today, not even Miss Starr. Everyone's probably busy looking into what exactly went down in the evidence room. That must be where the detectives are. But we proved in court today that on the day of the crime, no one was murdered in the evidence room at 5:15 p.m. Yeah, I thought we were finally making some headway in our case. But instead, it looks like we just ended up making Lana look even more guilty. Hang in there, Lana. I've got to find all the answers by tomorrow. Can we move? Hide, prosecute... Oh, it's probably in the police department. Why am I here? Oh. Howdy, Bambina. Oh, Mr. Marshall! I never thought things would turn out this way when I woke up this morning. Let me put this on. Que sera. You never know where life will lead you, eh, Bambina? I should have known my luck had run out when old Billy dried up this morning. Billy? Must be his pet cactus. Say, where are you headed? Just over to the prosecutor's office for a little interrogation. It's a voluntary appearance, but we all know I won't be coming back. Sorry, but you can't go in the evidence room today, partner. Mr. Marshall, why did you do it? Why do prospectors head west? If there ever was a case I needed to know the truth about, it was that one. Before you turn yourself in, Mr. Marshall, would you mind telling us exactly what happened? Looks like I won't be getting a steak lunch today. Hell yeah, Marshall. Something was fishy about that trial from the beginning. It wasn't just me either. All the detectives thought so. What do you mean fishy? Some of the facts reported were inconsistent with the evidence we found. For example, the murder weapon. The murder weapon? You mean the switchblade knife with the broken tip? That was Joe Dark's, alright. But in the initial autopsy report, a question was raised. A question? The blade of the knife was not a perfect match with the wound the victim sustained. What does that mean? It means there is a good chance that knife was not the murder weapon. However, in the report that was finally submitted, that possibility had been erased. Could the facts have been concealed with forged evidence? In that case, left behind scars on all of us. The scars that the SL9 incident left behind. Whew, I got the looks, but he got the brains. He was one of the best prosecutors around. I just made detective when it went down. It was our first case together. How old was he, your brother? He was 27 at the time. He was awarded the highest honor that very day. The highest honor? You mean the king of prosecutors? I knew it. What are you looking at me like that for? That's an honor for a prosecutor. Mr. Marshall must have really been close with his brother. The day the SL9 incident took place, that wasn't the same day as... That's right. It was the day of the evidence transfer. Interesting. It was drizzling that morning, and by nightfall there was thunder. I can't believe 2 years have gone by already. I tried to steal the evidence so the case wouldn't die. Apparently someone tried to stop you. Detective Goodman was murdered, and the evidence locker was empty. There was something going on behind the scenes in that case. We all knew that later. Every detective involved in the investigation, save one, was taken care of. Miss Starr was fired, and I was demoted and boxed away in a tiny room. What about Detective Goodman? If they did something to him, too, the commissioners would get suspicious. No, they were careful enough not to be too obvious. They? Who are you talking about? Don't get upset, Bambina. I mean Damon Gant and Lana Skye. The investigation lead, Damon Gant, and the second in command, Lana Skye. Yes, we've seen this. There wasn't a person on the force who hadn't heard of that duo. That case was the biggest step in both of their careers. After the case ended, Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office, right? Yeah, Damon Gant, the new chief of police, arranged for that to happen. She'd never been the same since she left. Everyone who knew her said so. Chief Prosecutor Skye was totally different when she was a detective. Now that he mentions it, Emmett says something like that too. Tell me, what happened to my sister? Sorry, Bambina, but her secret is too well guarded. I never found out. What a secret. It all started 2 years ago. So there you have it. That's my story. Did you enjoy it, partner? It was certainly enlightening. There's one thing for sure I found out in court today. That boy Edgeworth isn't my enemy. He was the one who used falsified evidence to get a guilty verdict. But someone else was the one who gave him that evidence and planned everything. That someone is Damon Gant. Don't believe me? Well, I don't blame you. I won't even be a patrolman after today. Ooh, that's nice. Too bad I won't be around to work with you when you become a real scientific investigator. Aww, that makes my heart a little bit. Adios, Bambina. Adios, partner. For the last time, let's take off the hat. Top 10 saddest anime deaths. Let's see. Wait, where are we even going? Don't we have to talk to... I don't even know. This place is always pretty empty, but today it's deserted. That must mean everyone's busy solving crimes. Oh, if you're looking for the others, they're all in the conference room. Thanks, Chief. Thanks. Oh, he actually talked to us. Well, the chief prosecutor saying what she did, the decision about what to do about Mr. Edgeworth, not to mention her statement to the media in tomorrow's trial. There's more chaos going on than Thanksgiving and Christmas put together. I think festive is the word usually used for those. Sir, we'd like to have a look around Chief Gant's office. Just use the connecting hallway to the other building and take the elevator to the top floor. Really? You mean it's okay for us to go in there? I mean, we aren't police officers or anything. Just shut up! Hey, you're right, you can go in there, it's off limits! Oh my god, now I see where Detective Gumshoe gets his unique charm. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's head to the chief's office. I guess we'll go. Holy crap, he's actually a madman. Okay. Oh my god, that's actually hilarious. Now, there's something I just saw, something I really want to confirm. That photo. Did you see that? Doesn't the award look... Yeah, there's no sword in the award. That's wacky, bro. Whoa, where am I? In the chief's office, silly. At least that's what it said on the door. Check it out, that pipe organ. That's real, isn't it? Hey, I used to take organ lessons in kindergarten. They used to call me Little Miss Bach. I'm sure they did. I thought I was a genius. I never could remember where C was. Oh, it's you two. Chief Gant. He put that paper he was reading in his desk. So, righto, have you been swimming lately? No, I haven't. I've been kind of busy lately. I can appreciate that. I've had my hands full too with Mr. Marshall's misconduct and Lana's provocative statement. I had made some provocative statements towards her the other day. Provocative statement? Oh, you mean about the forged evidence. 2 years have passed since that incident. Let me twiddle with a bit of my hair. My, how time flies. Well, see that big picture on the wall over there? I do. Look, the trophy is different. There's no freaking blade. That's a picture of Lana, Neil, and me. He looks like Doomsday from DC. That's great. So this is Mr. Marshall's brother, Prosecutor Neil Marshall. We took it to commemorate our work together. Nice freaking, like, knife that's, like, right in front of Lana's, like, chest there. What the heck? She's like, oh, yes, I know where I'll take this photo. Right here in between the knife statue and the... vase. And the vase. And the vase. Something's not right with this picture. I can't quite seem to put my finger. I can. The blade right there and the trophy is missing. And that jar is what we found at the crime scene. Gant team picture. I already know what's wrong with it. Let's investigate it scientifically, shall we? Hey, what's up, Gant? Anyway, I'd like to reminisce all day, but there are matters that need my attention. I'm going to lock up here, so let's go out together. Oh, but this was a crime scene 2 years ago, wasn't it? That case has long since been over. There's no need to investigate it anymore. All the same, we'd still like to have a look around. Perhaps you didn't hear me. I said there's no need to investigate it anymore. Now hurry up and get out! I have a meeting to attend. At the very least, this guy has a great personality. Looks like we aren't welcome. It seems that the case isn't over with yet after all. What do you mean? Chief Gant denied our request to search the crime scene. That means there must be a reason he doesn't want us looking around in there. You mean like a clue? There's gotta be a way we can get inside the chief's office. I know how. I don't know how. Maybe we can talk to Big Dicky. Hey, player. I heard you call my name, so I came running. But before we do anything, I want to check this scientifically. Can't do that. Never mind, boys. Detective Gumshoe, aren't you supposed to be in a meeting? I'm just taking a breather. My feet hurt. From sitting so long? Actually, from serving everyone coffee. Damn. Sounds like Detective Gumshoe's still out of the loop. Say, have either of you seen Mr. Edgeworth? Edgeworth? No. Why do you ask? He's under fire from both the police department and the prosecutor's office. It's almost like the battles between you two in court. That sounds serious. Is it because of what my sister said? That's basically what it all boils down to. That falsified evidence 2 years ago. Now Mr. Edgeworth has the whole world after his blood. Yikes. What's up, boy? Edgeworth's crisis. Why would Edgeworth be blamed? It's not like he knew the evidence was forged. Lana Skye's guilty party here, isn't she? Yeah, your sister's a big fat phony, Emma. Regardless, a prosecutor is responsible for the evidence they present in court. Not only that, but as you know, there have been a lot of rumors going around with Mr. Edgeworth. His amazing talent as a prosecutor has kept him safe from those who don't like him. But now with this, are there really so many people who hate him? In our world, only those with talent rise to the top. Edgeworth not only has that, but he's young. There's no better recipe I know of for making enemies. Hey, Dick! Keep up the good work. Yes, sir. Let's go out for lunch again sometime. I treat. Yes, sir. You gotta take me back to that joint sometime, okay, Dick? Yes, sir. Seems you don't have any problems with enemies, because he's old and talentless. Yeah, well, I'm careful not to stick out. Anyway, I'm a bit worried about him. Under all this pressure, I'm afraid Mr. Edgeworth just might crack. Actually, I took a look at the file earlier while the coffee was brewing. He seems genuinely concerned for Edgeworth. Well, did you find out anything? The only evidence Doc left behind was during his final attack. His final attack? You mean when he killed Prosecutor Marshall who was trying to protect some girl? Some random girl who no one cares about and a stupid idiot. Oh, it's you! Oops! Seems Detective Gumshoe never realized Emma was the girl. That's when he left the most incriminating evidence of all. Well, what was it? Oh, let's see. I think it had something to do with the Moida weapon. Oh, I forget. Look, it's all written somewhere in here, okay? His powers of recollection never fail to impress. Maybe we should show him the murder weapon. Hold on. Let me look through it, actually, real quick. No, it's not written in here, actually. Cool. It might just jog his memory. Dark's crimes. Joe Dark was 42 at the time of the crime. He was just your run-of-the-mill businessman. A businessman? What made him take to serial killing? One day on his way home from work, he hit someone with his car. With his car? So it was an accident? An accident, yes, but it transformed him into an animal. An animal? He killed a man that witnessed the accident. Then he killed the lady who solved the second crime. A kid walked by just then, so he killed him too. Then when he was burying the bodies, a jogger came upon the scene and he was killed as well. Finally, he turned himself in. Jesus, dude. This guy had a really rough night, alright? That's all I'm saying. Seems he was a pretty careless animal. Of course, this is all conjecture. There wasn't a single shred of evidence. So he turned himself in. Yes, but in the middle of his questioning, he fled and murdered his final victim. Prosecutor Marshall. That crime was witnessed by someone too, but luckily Doc was arrested on the spot. It's a good thing that last witness wasn't killed. That last witness, aka Emma. Take this about this. Oi, is that? It has a tag attached to it with the label SL9 incident on it. I believe this would be the broken murder weapon you were speaking of. What are you doing with that? Ever since that case has been closed, that knife's been locked away in a locker. On the day Detective Goodman was murdered, this suddenly disappeared from the locker. And was found in Mr. Edgeworth's car muffler. That's it! Now I remember what that incriminating piece of evidence was. When you showed me that knife, it all came back to me. Well, what is it, Detective? Quick, before you forget again. This knife, it was Joe Dark's, wasn't it? That's right. We traced it back to the store he bought it at. Plus, it had fingerprints on it, too. But no one actually witnessed him using it to murder anyone, right? That's where his luck ran out. When you take a good look at the knife, you'll see it's broken. You don't have to take a good look to notice that. Yeah, well anyway, take a guess where the broken off tip of the knife was found. That's what did him in. Where was it? The victim, Neil Marshall, was carrying it inside his own body. It was found deep inside the stab wound. Did it match Dark's knife? You bet! Down to the last fiber. That's pretty conclusive. Neil's autopsy report. Switchblade knife has been updated. Well, there you have it in a nutshell. That's all I know. Can I ask you one more thing? What is it? If it's money you need, you should ask Chief Gant. It's not money, but it does concern the chief. His office is a crime scene, right? Hi, Santi. Welcome back. It's where Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered. The chief's out now and his office is locked. We'd like to have a look around if that's okay. Well, if any detective's ID card can unlock the door. Oh, really? But if I let a civilian in there, I'd be charged with a breach of trust. Breach of trust? Simply put, I'd be canned. Oh, sorry, pal. I don't plan on getting fired because of you. How about this ID card? It was Detective Goodman's. When are you gonna play? That won't work either. That data was deleted the day he died. Oh. So in other words, Gumshoe's our only chance of getting into that office. I wonder if there's something we could show him that would make him change his mind. I don't know. Whenever I plan to play Roblox again, I will look into the game and see if it's something I want to play on that day. And then if I want to, then I'll, like, you know, Okay, something we could show him. Do you want this? Let me show the, if you don't, okay. What about this? A jar, somewhere. Well, maybe it's from one of those memories. Something about it makes me feel uneasy. It's like I'm in the chief's office and he's yelling at me. Chief Gant. Where could I have seen that before? From here. Oh my god. Dude, it's literally in the friggin', okay. An executive officer. I just might have a hunch, yeah. Yikes. Maybe show this to him? Hey, that's it! That's the King of Prosecutors Award Mr. Edgeworth got the other day. Were you at the award ceremony, Detective Gumshoe? Of course, pal. I got an award for diligence myself. Ah, congratulations. I was wondering, why is the award a shield? And why is it broken? Oh, there's a reason. I'll tell you what it is later. Apparently he's forgotten. Crap, what do I present here? This ID card belongs to the victim. Yeah. I'm me after all. I think I'll stay out of this conversation. There's a freaking hair on my screen. Ah. A piece is missing. Present this, maybe? Studying. After all, a serial killer was on the list. Lana, she forged evidence. Does it really say what it... Wait, what was it? Oh, it's the knife tip. Yeah, that was the thing that did him in. I really don't know what we could present him here with. Can I talk to you? No. Okay. Can I really not, like... Okay. I don't know what we're gonna present to him. Maybe we can move. Can I talk with Lana? No. I don't want that. Underground parking lot. No. Maybe Edgeworth. Are you here, Edgy? I wonder if Edgeworth is back yet. There he is. It looks like he's writing something. Oh. What are you doing here? Hello, Edgy. He sure was quick to throw that paper on the floor. Tough day in court, huh? I've had to live with the past 2 years with rumors flying around. What's another allegation to me? Cheer up, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm rooting for you. That's Edgeworth for you. And he always trying to hide his feelings. So what do you want? Oh, I totally didn't see that. Okay. There's no excuse for what I've done. 2 years ago, I used false evidence to obtain a guilty verdict. That's what it all breaks down to, and nothing I can do can erase that fact. But you know, did you? I mean that the evidence was falsified. The police department and the prosecutor's office share a bond of trust. If that bond is broken, we stand to lose everything. The police department's error is my error. My responsibility is the prosecutor in charge. That fact remains the same no matter what excuses I might have. Mr. Edgeworth, I take pride in my work, so tell me why it had to come to this. Are you up for the trial tomorrow? First last year's trial and now this one. Seems all you do is worry about me. To be honest, you're getting on my nerves. Mr. Edgeworth, you can just walk out on the trial. Tomorrow's the last day. It's too late to change prosecutors. I'll bet that's what my superiors are banking on. I never thought that case would come back to haunt me like this. What do you mean? The list of evidence. It seems too short. Most lists run twice as long. It's only half as long as most lists? That is odd. After Neil Marshall was murdered, I became prosecutor for that case. I may have not been a part of the investigation, but I knew what I had to do. Use the evidence I was given to prove the suspect was guilty. That was really the only thing on my mind at the time. Say, we just saw a picture taken around that time. That picture? Something seems strange about it. I guess I'll present that to him. Could you tell us again what happened the day Detective Goodman was murdered? You were participating in a ceremony. I've never cared for ceremonies, but I had to attend that one. Because you were awarded this. Those receiving awards can't exactly skip out on the ceremony. I finished up at the office in the morning, then drove over to the police department. You finished up at the office? Yes, just odds and ends, clerical stuff. I didn't plan on returning to the office that day. That is, until I was asked to take something back. Take something back? This. Oh yeah, Chief Gant asked you to hold on to that, didn't he? Yes, it was a piece of evidence in a case that was closed half a year ago. He asked me to bring it back to the prosecutor's office. That's the story we heard yesterday. So you came back here to the prosecutor's office because the chief asked you to. That's right. The chief is manipulating people's actions. Okay, present. This picture was hanging on the wall in Chief Gant's office. Prosecutor Nero Marshall. He had just started making a name for himself. Looks like this was taken when he received the King of Prosecutors trophy. Speaking of that, there's something that bothers me. Yes? The trophy Mr. Marshall is holding, it's a little different than yours. Yes, you're right. Oh, I remember now. Remember what? That was what the official prosecutor's trophy looked like until 2 years ago. There's a story behind its design. A story? Sounds interesting. Would you mind telling it to us? It's simple, really. Contradiction. That's always what the award's based on. I'll have to talk to you about that. This award originates from an ancient Chinese tale. In Chinese, the word contradiction is written with 2 characters. For the first meaning halberd, and the second means shield. Have you heard this story? Me? Oh, I'm sure. Everyone knows that. But why don't you tell it, though, for Emma's sake? Very well. Cool. Why is the trial music playing? Long ago in the kingdom of Shu, there was an arms merchant. One day, he presented the king with 2 items. The first was a halberd he claimed could slice through any shield or armor. The second was a shield he claimed could withstand any weapon. Wait a minute. What the fuck? Those claims contradict each other! Yo, we're really getting to the bottom of this case now, boys! Very perceptive, but then again, you've heard this story before, right? Anyway, as you mentioned, the very description of these items discredit them both. When the king pointed this out, the merchant was left speechless, and thus the Chinese word for contradiction was born. That's amazing. I love that. Oh, I see. So the chipped shield and the broken knife symbolize... Precisely so. They symbolize the merchant's items. The ancient Chinese tale ends with the merchant at a loss for words, but it's in our nature to pursue matters to their conclusion, even if it results in something as ugly as this. Wow, thanks, Mr. Edgeworth. I learned something new today. That's funny. If that's so, then why were you only given a shield? You'll have to ask Chief Gant. 2 years ago, he had the halberd part of the award abolished. Chief Gant. Yeah, the chief is manipulating everyone's actions. He's manipulating... Actually, hold on. We can examine, right? Yeah, this is the paper he just threw away. I wonder what he was writing before. Come on, Mr. Wright, let's take a look. Are you crazy? Edgeworth is sitting right there. Just distract him. I'll check it out. Hey, Edgeworth. What's up, buddy? Is that Detective Gumshoe out the window there? Oh no, he's falling to the ground. Hold on. First, let me see what this girl's doing crawling around. We are the, like, biggest bumbling group of idiots. Okay. He didn't even look. What? Letter of... If you're having trouble reading, I'll read it for you. It says letter of resignation. Oh, fuck. Resignation? Edgeworth, you don't mean... I'm tired, right? I feel as if something inside me has died. But Mr. Edgeworth, none of it is your fault. I know the path I've walked, you don't need to tell me. And the path I've walked hasn't just been a just one. I can't forgive myself for what I've done. And no one else should forgive me either. Uh-oh, I think he's serious. Mr. Wright, please, you have to do something. This letter of resignation, I wonder if... Oh, we show it to Gumshoe! Yes, Queen! Slay! Okay, let's go. Goodbye, Edgeworth. Don't, like, do anything rash while I'm gone. Excuse me. Okay, I'll be down. Hello, Miss Star. Would either of you care for a quarter pound of roast beef? Like, raw? Sure, I'll eat that right now. Miss Star! I guess she's out of lunches. You certainly are the curious sort, aren't you? Kind of like the first person who sucked a cow's nipple to discover milk. Oh, if that ain't a great quote out of context, I don't know what is. Still, I never thought you'd go digging up that case from 2 years ago. Everyone's in this trial was involved in the SL9 incident. Not only that, but the murder occurred on the very day the incident from that case was due for transferal. This can't be attributed to mere coincidence. Aren't you forgetting something? You know, that little scene I happened to witness? The instant Lana stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. No matter how much of the past you dig up, it won't change what I saw. Roast beef, it's meant to be savored when eaten. Miss Star's hatred toward Lana. It all dates back to 2 years ago. Facts, facts. Joe Dark, that's a name I'll not soon forget. We trailed him for half a year. Oh, the pressure. Still, I don't think I was ever more alive than I was then. Those days were steamier than a bowl of hot gravy. Poor old Jake Marshall, though, must have been going through hell. You mean because of his brother's death? They were close, those two. After Neil died, something took over Jake. He became obsessed. Seeing Jake like that made her all the more desperate. Her. Lana Skye. Sister. The best of the best were put on that SL9 case. Of course, they were led by that legendary duo. Lana and Chief Gant. Yes, we know. That legendary pair was the reason we were able to keep up our investigation. That's why we were so shocked over how it turned out. You mean with the forging of the evidence? Don't get me wrong, Joe Dark got what he deserved. Still, it was obvious the evidence produced in court was being manipulated. Items our team never found would suddenly appear, while other items were kept secret. You don't have proof anything illegal was done. I'm proof enough of what happened. After that case, all of us, save Goodman, were relieved of our duties, most without even so much as an explanation. Then Lana Skye transferred to the prosecutor's office and became chief prosecutor. Lana always wanted to be a prosecutor. Nothing's quite as simple as it appears. Huh? Lana Skye was merely being used as a pawn. That's my take on the matter. Being used. Damon Gant and Lana Skye. We've seen this 10,000 times. Gant led the investigation, with Lana second in command. They were the best. They solved all kinds of cases together, didn't they? Damon Gant's magnetism in particular was almost unreal. His magnetism? By that I mean his ability to attract evidence. He'd produced the most incredible evidence in the cases he handled. Incredible evidence, you mean? Oh yes. There were rumors about him even back then. No one dared confront him, though. I take it she's talking about forged evidence. Back then, everyone looked up to Lana. All the detectives wanted to be like her. Really? Oh yes, myself included. I was a fool, really. She hated anything crooked and always watched out for the other detectives. That's why she was so concerned for Jake. Mr. Marshall. When Jake's brother was murdered, she felt as if she had lost her own brother. If it wasn't for her, I don't think Jake would have ever recovered from his shock. That's what makes it all the more infuriating. Miss Starr. That's why I'll never be able to forgive her. Why did she have to turn so cold after that? Ooh, used. Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office 2 years ago, didn't she? Yes, thanks to Chief Gant's powerful influence. Chief. That's right. Having solved the SL9 case, his position as chief was secured. There was only one thing left for him to control, and then no one could stand in his way. The prosecutor's office. What? You mean that's why Lana was transferred? If he could control the chief prosecutor, he could control the prosecutor's office. That must have been his goal all along. But how could he control Lana? I don't know, but one thing's for sure. Ever since that case ended, she's never been the same. It's only logical to conclude there must have been a reason for her change. At last, I'm finally getting close to the bottom of this ugly mess. Thank you, Miss Starr. You listen to me, rookie. It takes more than just ingredients to create fine cuisine. I hope you turn out to be a better chef than I've been. No, I literally did not mean to click enter. I meant to click backspace. Thank you, Lana. Good day, ma'am. And with that, thank you, Miss Starr. Back. With that, we're gonna end the stream here, boys. We are getting to the very bottom of this case. And honestly, I'm so sus of Gant right now. He's manipulating everybody to what he wants them to do. And it's, you know what I'm saying? It's just the way it goes, you know? I just think he's guilty. I don't know how in the world he's guilty, but I just know he's guilty. I just feel like that's where the story's going. But anyways, if you enjoyed today's stream, be sure to tune in for tomorrow's stream. I'm not 100% sure what we'll be doing tomorrow, but we'll probably be doing something with Llama Drama. Maybe playing Portal 2, the bonus levels. So, if you guys are excited for that, be sure to tune in tomorrow. You can join my Discord. You know what? The only one here is Nova. You know all this already. Why am I forgetting? Have a good day, guys.